Hi, my name is Ashwini Kumar, and in this video, we are going to see the part 6, that is teaching aptitude. That is the first unit, last topic. It is part 6, and the part 6 is the evaluation system. So far, we discussed about the teaching aptitude, that is unit 1 of the paper 1. In this unit 1, total 6 topics are there: teaching, learners' characteristics, factors affecting teaching, methods of teaching, and teaching supporting system. So all these topics we already discussed in the previous lectures, and while coming to the present topic is the evaluation system. So before going into this evaluation system topic, if you are not yet subscribed the channel, please do subscribe, that you are going to get the all topics and all units of the paper 1, that is teaching and research aptitude, in this YouTube channel for free. And these topics will be explained in detail, and these PPTs can also be downloadable, that I am providing the link in the description box of this video, and I am also providing one WhatsApp invitation link in the description box of this video. So those who are preparing for the UGC NET exam, so paper 1 is mandatory to all the subjects, 81 subjects. So please join in that link, and please share this channel to your friends or colleagues who are preparing for the UGC NET exam. Fine. So now coming to the evaluation system, as per the UGC syllabus, these are the topics given under the evaluation system, that is elements and types of the evaluation, and choice based credit system, evaluation under choice based credit system. And next one is a computer based testing, and next one is the innovations in evaluation systems, right? So these are the 4 topics given. So while coming to these 4 topics, I divided into the 7 subtopics to make you understand. The first one is what is the definition of the evaluation system as per the University Grants Commissions, and what are the few experts definition, and elements of evaluation system types, and what is the CBCS, that is the choice based credit system, and what is the CBT, and new innovations in the evaluation system. So before going into the topics, what is the evaluation system is nothing but, evaluation system means, generally we are going to do this one in the ending process. Ending process means, at the, if any one sem is starting, or else if any one academic year is starting, then we are going to do the lesson plans, course plans, and as per the lesson and course plans, we are going to start the classes, okay, based upon the designed timetables and all these things. And after starting the classes, after 1 or 2 months, based upon the programs, so program means either it might be the degree, or I mean graduation or undergraduation, based upon the different types of graduation programs, like that. The exams are going to be conducted after 1.5 months or the 2 months. That means first midterm exam and second midterm exam. So after completion of these midterm exams, then we're going to conduct the final semester exams, like this, right? So after conducting whatever the exams are there through the entire semester, and all these marks were going to be evaluated, okay, evaluated to fix, or else to get the grade or the percentage to the particular candidate or the student, right? So this, I mean, whatever the teaching and all these things we discussed in the previous topics, but this conducting the exams and conducting the final exams, and they're doing the evaluation, of course evaluation are having the different methods. I mean, different universities are following the different methods, and providing the grading systems, or the percentage, or the marks, or the CGPA. So this entire process will comes under the evaluation systems, right? So actually it is what exactly this complete 6th topic is going to revolve around. And coming to the first topic, that is the definition on the evaluation system. And as per the UGC definition on the evaluation system, so UGC defined that evaluation is the process of making the judgments based upon the evidences and the interpretations. Evidences means conducting the exams, and the answer sheets and the question papers. That means the question papers created by the lecturers, and the answer sheets are written by the students. All these things are comes under evidences. And interpretations gathered through interpretations means analysis. So based upon the answer sheets, how we awarded the marks, and all these marks, how we analyzed. Okay, all these things are nothing but the interpretations gathered through examination and the assessment on the basis agreed upon the criteria, right? So it is a definition given by the UGC, and we are going to see some little bit about what is the examination and what is the assessment. So examination is nothing but a quantitative measure of the learner's performance and is usually held at the end of the academic session or the semester. Okay. So of course, whatever the exam we are conducting at the end of the semester or the sessions, okay, both these two. So end of the semester means after completion of the courses, whatever we are allotted in that semester. For example, if 6 subjects are there in one semester, these 6 subjects we are generally calling as a courses. Okay, subjects are also course, anything is fine. So first course, second course, third, fourth, fifth course, and sixth course. So after completion of all this entire syllabus, then we are going to conduct one final exam of that semester. Okay, and academic here the session can be taken as a so if for this entire process, that means starting of the semester to ending of the semester, if 6 months of time is there, then within the 6 months, for every 1.5 month, generally few colleges or the universities are going to conduct the midterm examination. After completion of the 1.5 month, we are going to conduct one mid exam, and after 1.5 month, going to conduct one mid exam. So like that. So all these things are comes under the process of examination. Anyhow, it is a quantitative measurement of the learner's performance, right? As per the examination conducted at the midterms or the final semester exams. And coming to the assessment, what is the assessment is nothing but it is a process of collecting the marks of the different exams that you conducted in one semester. But because few faculties will conduct the assignments, when will allot the marks based upon the assignments, midterm exam, lab exam, and some test or else some quizzes. Okay, so different things are there. So collecting all these different types of exams marks and recording and properly scoring, nothing but taking averages and all these things, what thing was there, and describing and interpreting information about the learning. So this entire process is nothing but a comes under the assessment, right? So coming to the next topic, that is the experts definition. So previously we saw the UGC definition. So UGC definition is nothing but evaluation is a process of making the judgments based upon the evidences and the interpretations gathered through examination and the assessment. So coming to the Tuckman. So as per his definition, evaluation is a process wherein the parts, process or outcomes of the program. Here, what is the meaning of program is nothing but, for example, if I'm taking the BSc, okay, BSc electronics, it is one program. BTech, computers, it is one program. Or else let's take the bachelor in architecture. So it is one program. That is the meaning of the program here, right? So outcomes of the program are examined to see whether they are satisfactory, particularly with reference to the program stated objectives of the own standards of the excellence, right? So it is the definition of the Tuckman. And while coming to the Muffat, so Muffat definition is that evaluation is not only the academic achievements, it is also the behavioral changes, right? So it is the definition given by the Muffat. That means Muffat is not only focusing on the academic achievements, okay, how many marks you are getting and how many grade points, what is the percentage of your graduation or what is the percentage of your program. So not only this academic achievements, how the behavior and how the character of the student is. So this one also comes under the evaluation process. So it is that means a Muffat definition is the all-round development or the all-round assessment of the student. And next, coming to the third topic, it is the elements of the evaluation system. So coming to the elements of the evaluation system, total we are having these types of different elements. Total 5 elements are there for the evaluation system: audience, purpose, questions, scope, and resources. And to determine these 5 basic components or the elements of the evaluation, first we have to ask a few questions. The question regarding the audience is, for what audience is the evaluation being conducted? That is the first thing. For what audience? For which type of audience? the evaluation is being conducted. And next, while coming to this one, for what purpose is the evaluation being conducted? Fine. And the next one is what questions will be asked in the evaluation, what type of questions, and what is the difficultiness of the questions, and whether you have to ask the MCQ or you want to ask the descriptive, so like that, what type of questions you want to ask, and what is the scope of the evaluation, right? And what resources are available to conduct the evaluation. That means if your college, the computers, I mean more number of computers are not there, then you cannot able to conduct the computer based test, right? So based upon the resources also, the evaluation has to be done, right? So these are the main 5 basic elements of the evaluation system. And next, coming to the types of the evaluation system. So total 4 types are there, and out of these 4, the first one is a placement evaluation, and next formative evaluation, diagnostic evaluation, and summative evaluation. So we will see these evaluations one by one clearly. And coming to the first evaluation, that is a placement evaluation. So in this evaluation, first of all, the teacher has to identify, all these are the students, the teacher has to identify the knowledge of their students and the skills of their students. So based upon their knowledge, then he has to start giving the instructions, or he has to start his subject. So how to explain, and what are the questions he has to give, and how to do the evaluations, all these things. So before directly starting, the teacher has to know the capacity of the students first, capacity with respect to what is their knowledge and what is the skills. But because if to any one 9th class student, we cannot able to give the engineering mathematics subject as an exam, right? So first the teacher has to identify what is the subject or the skills are already having to the student. So what is the caliber of the student? So that thing is comes under the placement evaluation. So in this one, this placement evaluation determines the knowledge and skills the students already have, which are necessary at the beginning of the instruction in a given subject area. And the purpose of this placement evaluation is to check the aptitude or the talent of a student for the course or subject, whether the student or the candidate has the caliber or not to understand the subject. So various entrance examinations can also be conducted for the same purpose. That means to identify the present knowledge of the students, you can conduct the different exams based upon the previous knowledge what he is having. That means for example, if you want to analyze the present skills of any one 8th class student, then you have to conduct the different exams based upon the questions based upon the 7th class or 6th class or 5th class. Okay, so if you are framing the questions on these classes, then based upon the evaluation process, you can understand whether the student is capable to learn the 8th class subjects or not. Okay, so this is nothing but a placement evaluation, and based upon the knowledge and skills and caliber of the student regarding the previous year concepts, the teacher can start a discussion keeping that one in the view, right? So it is the thing about the placement evaluation. And now coming to the formative evaluation. In this formative evaluation, judging the caliber of the students will be done not about the previous year knowledge. So it is just in the progress, right? That means right now if you are teaching one subject to the different students in the classroom, so after if whatever the concept you want to discuss, if 5 sub concepts are there, after completion of one sub concept, just ask the students. Okay, after completion of one sub concept, just ask the students. That means this type of evaluation can be done whenever the program activities are in the progress. Okay, and this evaluation provides the student with feedback. They will give some feedback regarding their success or failure in attaining the instructional objectives. That means whatever the teaching you are doing, if you are asking the questions immediately, then only you can able to understand immediately whether they can able to answer that one or not, right? So the formative evaluation is nothing but it is a method of judging the caliber of the student whenever the programming activities are in progress. Okay, or in progress. So if you want to get with respect to this example, so in this example all the previous year knowledge checking is done, and now take one 8th class student and he's having the math, social and science. After completion of one unit in the mathematics, conduct one exam. so that you can understand the caliber of the student, right? So it is a formative evaluation. And now the third type of evaluation is a diagnostic evaluation. And in this process, that means whatever the previous two evaluations we discussed, that is placements and formative, these two types of evaluations determines the extent to which the students accomplish the learning targets. So therefore it focuses on the measurements of the intended outcomes. So while coming to the diagnostic evaluation is, if you are conducting, that means as I told in the previous example, that if a teacher asked anyone 8th class student regarding the first unit of the mathematics question, asking the questions, and so by immediate asking the questions, we can able, that means the teacher can able to understand the knowledge and the skill and the understanding capability of the student immediately. But while coming to the diagnostic evaluation, if the student couldn't able to answer the questions from this first unit of the mathematics, then this evaluation tries to provide an explanation what is the problem of learning to the student, why he couldn't able to answer the questions. So is there any problem in understanding, or is there any problem in learning? So what is the difficulty he is facing? So all such type of things are comes under the diagnostic evaluations. Okay, it will be little bit hectic to the teacher if more number of students are there in the classroom. Fine. And next one is a summative evaluation. It is also called as external evaluation. So summative evaluation means, so after completion of all the courses of all the subjects of one semester or one academic year, then we are going to conduct one final exam, right? One final exam. So whatever the evaluation process we are doing for this final exam is nothing but a summative evaluation, right? So summative evaluation is a method of judging the worth of program. As I told, the what is the meaning of the program at the end of the program activities, and this is called the, this is completely focused on the outcome based. And next topic is the CBCS. CBCS, it is nothing but a choice based credit system. So in this topic we are going to see these 5 different types of topics. One is the types of the courses, examination and assessment, fairness in assessment, what are the keywords you have to understand in the CBCS, and what are the disadvantages of this choice based credit system. So these topics we are going to see right now. And coming to the first, we will see what exactly the CBCS is. It provides the opportunity to the students to choose courses from the prescribed courses comprising core, elective, minor or skill based courses. That means out of the 6 subjects in any one semester, 4 subjects will be the mandatory, and the remaining 2 subjects he can select his interesting subject. It might be the core subjects, or it might be some other than the non-core subject, so he can select any one of the thing. So that such kind of possibility will be given to the students in the choice based credit system. So definitely this will benefit to the students to move across institutions within India to begin with, and across the countries also. The uniform grading system will also be enabled to the potential employers in accessing the performance of the candidates. So for example, if any one candidate is belonging the electronics, and out of the, I mean, these 4 subjects he can choose regarding the electronic subjects, I mean core subjects, and the remaining 2 subjects he can select from the computer science one, and from mechanical engineering 1 subject he can select. Okay, so computer science means, let's take any some kind of programs, like any some, if he wants to learn any some programs which will be helpful for his interview purpose or for his job purpose, so he can select his interesting subject from other departments also. Such type of system will be available in the CBCS, that is choice based credit system. Okay, so it provides an opportunity to the students to choose his interesting courses, and these courses will be evaluated based upon the grading system, which is considered to be better than the normal marking system. Therefore it is necessary to introduce uniform grading system in the entire higher education in India. If the uniform grading system is maintained, why? Because nowadays also there is no uniform grading system. In some universities they are following the percentages. Okay, so for example, let's take in the BTech, if anybody got the 70%, okay, I got the 70% in my BTech. Some people will say, I mean, in studied in one state. In the other state, people, they will say that I got the 7.2 CGPA. Okay, and in some other states they will say that I got the B grade. So like that, different credit systems are there. That means different types of things are there. It leads to some confusion to the employers. Okay, that means the company who wants to recruit, he will get confused whether which one is better and which one is efficient. But if we maintain the uniform grading system to entire higher education institutes in India, it will be very beneficial to the companies to select the candidates, right? So in this process, to bring this uniformity, the CGPA is introduced by the UGC. Okay, CGPA is introduced by the UGC. So this CGPA means cumulative grade point average. Okay, that we will discuss about this one in the next slides. Anyhow, it is a CBCS, and that's what we discussed right now. So this CBCS, the choice-based credit system, allows students to choose interdisciplinary and intradisciplinary courses, and the skill-oriented papers or the job-oriented languages or the courses he can select. So it will be the more flexibility to the students based upon their interest and the learning needs or the his talent or the aptitude, right? Fine. So now we will see, as I told that in the CBCS, we have to discuss about these 5 topics. So first one is the types of courses. So the 3 different types of course are there: core, elective, and the foundation course. So coming to the core course, the core course will be available in each and every semester. And in this core course, whatever the subjects are there, definitely the subjects has to be studied compulsorily by the students. There is no option. Okay, that means under the core courses, definitely the compulsory the student has to study this subjects comes under this core course. And coming to the elective course, so it is a course which can be chosen from a pool of papers. That means the university will give some papers, or else they will give some subjects, 1 2 3 4. Out of these 4 subjects, he can able to select any one of his interesting subjects. Okay, that is called as an elective, generic elective, focusing on those papers which add generic proficiency to the students. Or an elective may be discipline centric, okay, or may be chosen from unrelated discipline also. It is called as an open elective. A generic elective means the subject has to be selected based upon his department only, his discipline only. Open elective means the student can able to select any one subject from the other departments or other disciplines also. Okay, so these are the 2 different types. And coming to the foundation course, in the foundation course also we're having the 2 types: compulsory foundation and the elective foundation. So compulsory foundation are nothing but courses based upon the contents leads to the knowledge enhancement. They are mandatory to all the disciplines. Okay. So just like while coming to the PhD, whoever the candidates wants to register for the PhD, the research ethics and the research methodology, the subject is compulsory to all the candidates. That means it is a compulsory foundation subject, right? It is mandatory to all the disciplines. And coming to the elective foundation, so it is a value based and or aim at man making education. That means if I'm the student belongs to electronics, so this subject must be the mandatory, and I have to select any some elective foundation based upon my research category or my discipline, right? So it comes under foundation course. Next one is examination and assessment. So that we already saw, but anyhow I'm just reminding. In the assessment or in the assessing the performance of the students in the examinations, it is the usual approach to award marks based upon the examinations conducted in the various stages, just like sessional exams, midterm exams, in a semester, right? And the UGC recommends the following system to implement awarding the grades and CGP under the credit based semester system. Okay, that means the assessment has to be done under the CGPA, that is credit based semester system. It is recommended by the UGC. And in this, whatever the UGC recommended the CGPA system, that is called as a letter grades and the grade points. So what is this letter grades and the grade point is nothing but here also the 2 types are there: relative grading and the absolute grading. Relative grading is just nothing but giving the marks, okay, distributing the marks obtained by all the students of the course, and the grades are awarded based upon the cutoff marks or the percentile. But while coming to the absolute grading means all the marks will be converted into the grades based upon their performance on predetermined class intervals or the different exams. Okay, so here we are going to see one table. Here the UGC recommended the system, that is 10-point grading system. So here marks range in theory, in lab, and the letter grade, level, and the grade point. So in the theory, if he got more than 90 marks, then the letter grade is O. That means O stands for the outstanding, and the grade point 10 you can give. And in the lab, it is the same case for the lab. Out of the 75, greater than 67 marks. That means for theory maximum 100 marks, for lab maximum 75 marks. So while coming to the theory, if you got greater than 80 to 90, greater than 90 and greater than 80 and less than 90, and in the lab this is situation, then the letter grade is yes. Yes represents the excellent, and the grade 0.9 will be awarded. So you must be very clear about this table, because they may ask any one of the question. So letter grade C stands for what, which level? So you have to answer fair level, and the grade point is a 6, and you have to remember these markings also. Sometimes there is a chance to give the question in the UGC NET exam based upon this table, so please be careful about this table. And next one is the fairness in the assessment. So assessment is an integral part of the system of education, as it is instrumental in identifying and certifying the academic standards that is gained or obtained by the students, and projecting them far and wide as objective or impartial indicators. That mean whatever the assessment things are done, that is the indication or the indicator of the student's performance in his graduation or the post graduation, anything. So in case the assessment of practical component of such core courses, the team of examiners should be constituted on 50-50% basis. That means half of the examiners in the team should be invited from the outside the university conducting exam. That means if anyone university is conducting the exam, if it is a core courses means in this core courses all the subjects are regarding the particular discipline of the students. That means if I am the electronics candidate, so whatever the subjects related to the electronics, all the subjects are comes under the core courses, right? So to evaluate this core courses or to make the correction these core courses papers, 50% of the examiners or the evaluators has to come from outside the university or outside this college, and remaining 50% of the papers can be corrected by the same university or the same college only. Okay, that is a rule. And in case assessment of the project reports or thesis or PhD dissertations or anything, the work should be undertaken by the internal and external examiners also, both these two, right? And in case of at least 50% of the core courses offered in different programs across the disciplines, okay, different programs across the disciplines, then the assessment of the theoretical component towards the end of the semester should be taken by the external examiners from the outside the university conducting exam, who may be appointed by the component authority, just like the universities. That means under the JNTU, few affiliated colleges will be there, and which paper has to be, which examiners has to be correct this papers, that examiner or the external examiner will be allotted by this JNTU university. That means that it is nothing but a competent authority, right? So it is a process of evaluation. And now the keywords of this choice-based credit system. Academic year, all of you know, 2 consecutive, that is 1 odd semester and 1 even semester, completely called as a 1 academic year. And a choice-based credit system provides choice for students to select from the prescribed courses. Either it might be the core or elective, minor or soft skills courses, anything he can select apart from the core subjects. And what is the meaning of the course is nothing but, usually it is referred to as a paper. Okay, it's a component of the program. All courses need to carry the same weight. The courses should define learning objectives and the learning outcomes. So what exactly the course or the paper is nothing but, let's take one semester. In this semester, if 6 subjects are there, and out of the 6 subjects, let's take the first subject. Generally we will call as a subject, but as per the CBCS notation, subject can also be called as a course, or course can also be called as a one paper, right? So like that, one course, the second course, third course. So here how many courses are there in this one semester? 6 courses or 6 papers are there, fine. And all these courses has to carry the, all courses need not carry the same weight. There is no mandatory that all the courses has to carry the same weight. If you observe, out of these 6 courses, few courses will carry the 8 credit points, few courses will carry the 2 credit points, so like that. So different weightage you can put. Next, credit based semester system. So under this system, the requirement for awarding a degree or the diploma or certificate is prescribed in terms of number of credits to be completed by the students. For example, while coming to the BTech, after the end of the completion of BTech, minimum 100 credits has to be scored. So after completion of 100 credits only, he is going to get the certificate. And coming to the credit point, it is a product of grade point and the number of credits for a course. Okay, number of credits for a course. That means for one course, how many credits are allotted? If 4 credits are there, then 4 credit points are there. Okay, like that. And while coming to the credit, so what is the meaning of the credit? Credit point and credit, both these two are different. And credit means one credit is equivalent to 1 hour of teaching or 2 hours of practical work or field work per week. It is a credit. And the next one is a cumulative grade point average. So coming to this cumulative grade point average, so what it is, nothing but, so let's take any one program. I am taking the BTech program. So it is a total 4 years of program. So 4 years of program means first year, second year, third year, and final year. First year, first semester, first year, second semester, and year second year, first semester, second year, second semester. So just like 3-1, 3-2, and 4-1, 4-2. So total how many semesters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Total 8 semesters are there. So out of these 8 semesters, in each and every semester, that means out of these 8 semesters, how many credits the students got, okay, how many credit points the student got, divided by total number of credits allotted to those subjects. So this one will gives you the CGPA. Okay, so the CGPA is ratio of the total credit points secured by the students in various courses of all the semesters in a program, divided by sum of the total credits of all the courses in all the semesters. It is expressed up to 2 decimal places. So that's it. It is nothing but a CGPA. And coming to the grade point, it is a numerical weightage allotted to each letter grade on a 10-point scale, right? So 10-point scale means apart from the CGPA, we're going to get out of the 10-point scale means 7.4 out of 10 CGPA, like that. And semester grade point average. Okay, so semester grade point average means here we discussed the CGPA for the complete program, but the semester means for one semester how many credit points he got divided by the total number of credits allotted to this semester is nothing but a semester grade point average. So it is also expressed up to 2 decimal places. And coming to the semester is nothing but a 15 to 18 weeks of the academic work equivalent to 90 actual teaching days. And the odd semester has to be planned in between July to December, and the even semester has to plan in between January to June. And transcript or grade card or the certificate. So what this one is, after completion of your degree, you are going to get one certificate, right? So that is nothing but a grade card, certificate, or the transcript. So based upon the grades earned, and a grade certificate shall be issued to all the registered candidates after each and every semester. The grade certificate will display the course details, code, title, number of credits, grade secured, along with SGPA of that semester and CGPA and till the semester. Okay, and letter grade. So letter grade means the performance of the students will be indicated with respect to the grades, that is O. O means outstanding, A plus A, B plus B, C, P, and F means fail. And coming to the program, as I told already, so BTech is nothing but one program, Bachelor of Architecture is one program, BSc is one program. So just like that, all these are one programs. So an educational program leading to award of a degree, diploma, or certificate. And what is the disadvantages just of this choice-based credit system is nothing but difficult to estimate the exact marks, because one student will select the out of the 6 subjects in one semester, they will select the 4 subjects as a core subjects, and remaining 2, of course, I'm just saying this one as one example. Okay, it's not the perfect figures. So the 2 subjects from any one of the different disciplines. So different disciplines means this discipline faculty has to be allotted to teach this subject, and this discipline faculty has to be allotted to teach the one more subject. So like that, the difficultness of estimate the exact marks and workload of the teachers will definitely fluctuate, and it demands very good infrastructure or dissemination of education. And the next topic is a CBT, that is a computer based test. The computer based test means it refers to the test and assessment conducted through the use of organized systems or computers, right? And computer based tests have the ability to automate a very time consuming task, marking and monitoring progress. That means while coming to the CBT tests, whatever the questions, those questions, the answers will be given by the students, and within few minutes the evaluation also be done automatically. So the use of CBT for entrance examinations in education, in military training, and the certification examinations by the professional groups, and the promotional examinations in various stages, categories of life cannot be overstepped in this century. So if the CBT exam is done, then we can write the exam by simply sitting in front of the laptop or system, anything. And the advantages is efficiency, convenience, automatic scoring with instant feedback, and new analytics and reports will also get, and the security configurations will be there, and the less human errors, and the reusability can be done. Okay, all these things are the advantages. And the disadvantages are here generally the CBTs are the multiple choice questions, right? There is no descriptive questions. So a student performance can be clearly analyzed only with respect to the descriptive only. Up to, I mean, based upon the multiple choice questions, we cannot able to perfectly get the factual knowledge of the student. And if the student is insufficient computer knowledge, then he feels some difficulty. He cannot able to feel comfortable with the systems. And coming to the computer based test, so it is a process first application and registration. Just imagine the UGC net exam. Okay, so nowadays it is a computer based test only. First we have to apply and register, and the center allocation will be done, and the hall tickets will be generated, question paper creation. You have to write the test on the computer, so the result declaration will be done, right? So it is a process. And the last topic is the innovations in the evaluation system. So here the different subtopics I took: concept maps, concept test, e-portfolio, podcast, talk show performance, minute paper, artificial intelligence, and just in time teaching. So here the concept test means multiple choice questions designed to test the understanding level of a single concept. Okay, e-portfolio means it is an online space where the students can able to store and organize the course and the written assignments and the images or the videos regarding the lectures whatever the teachers taught. All these things they can store and organize and retrieve whenever they want for the easy studying purpose. So for this one what happens is that they can able to see the connection of the whole course. Okay, that means if any one course 5 units are there, so what is the connection between the 5 units, the center connection they can able to see. And coming to the podcast and vlogs, so it encourages the students to take their identifications, analysis, reports, diagrams, etc. to the real world. So whatever the analysis that they done, these analysis and the reports or the diagrams they can able to take to the real world. So digital level by creating a visual or a verbal file for submission that activities and authenticates their learning. Okay, so these are all the podcasts and vlogs. So and the talk show performance means a talk show performance is an authentic version of more traditional in class preparations, as it the direct students to take and embody their learning for an interactive live or recording discussion. That means generally in our classrooms, after completion of one concept, usually we will call one student to come on the dais, right? To come on the dais and let's tell about the concept whatever he understood to the remaining students. Okay, so it might be some kind of interactive with other students and it is very live, and sometimes you can record this discussion also. And coming to the minute paper, so you must pose 1 to 2 questions in which the students identify the most significant things they have learned from a given lecture, discussion, or assignment. That means the students can able to ask the 1 or 2 questions based upon the given lectures or discussions or the assignments. And next one is the artificial intelligence. So it is a one software system which is automated scoring from examples of instructors grading of students assignments. Okay, so based upon this artificial intelligence, the students can able to retrieve their gradings regarding the past semesters or the previous courses or the assignments, all these things automatically if the teachers store all these details in a software system. And just in time teaching means, so it actively engages the students in learning, but because in this teaching, if the teacher wants to discuss one concept today in the classroom, and whatever the concept the student want to discuss, the material regarding this concept is already distributed to the students in the previous day, and the students will study this material. And now the students are having some idea regarding the concept what the teacher today is going to teach, and based upon that idea, the teacher will start from that idea, like that some time consuming, that means the time will be saved because the students is already having some knowledge regarding this concept due to the provided material to them by the teacher. And whatever the knowledge is or having to the students, from that knowledge the teacher will start teaching. Okay, so it will be the actively engagement of the students. Of course nowadays nobody students will do like this. Okay, it is all our just illusions. Okay, so fine. Anyhow, it is a meaning of the just in time teaching. So the students will have the already some existing knowledge will be there before teaching on the topic begins, right? So it is the complete topics regarding the evaluation system, right? So please be careful about this one. Why? Because definitely we are going to get any one question from this topic. That is, the topics we discussed are definition, experts definition, elements, types, choice-based credit system. So I think it is a very important concept, and the computer-based test and the innovations in evaluation system. So there is a lot of chances are there to ask from the choice-based credit system in the exam. But anyhow, please be careful about the remaining concepts also. Fine. So it is a complete one unit what we already have. So all these topics are discussed, right? So in the next video onwards, we are going to meet with the second unit, that is research aptitude. So please share this video or channel to as maximum as possible to your friends or colleagues who are preparing for the UGC NET exam. Okay, thank you.